Hola,
Hola.
¿cómo estás?
Muy bien.
Was that like a fusion?
No, that was Spanish, wasn't it?
Did you say muy or we? I heard we.
Muy bien.
Okay,
Which
I
is
heard we as in
very
like
good.
French, yes. Bien, Spanish, good, yes.
Ah.
Yes, you did it right.
Yes, good.
Yay.
Et tu? Oh no, that's French.
No, E2 is also Spanish.
it?
Well,
Oh.
E2 and then maybe a different accent.
Et tu? Different language. Just change the accent.
I'll say to you what I say to the AI, a little foreshadowing, character on my Duolingo every time she asks how I am. Estoy cansada, which means I am tired. Say that every time. And she usually responds saying she's bored because she's like, her character is like this bored teen.
Oh, poor bored robot. You really reminded me of Thingy in Bridesmaids when she's making the speech and she does her little Spanish thing. I can't remember what she says. But...
Kristen Wiig, is that
Yeah.
the other one? Okay, I can't think of that what specifically, but I've seen that movie so much. I should be able
I'll
to.
send you a clip.
I mean, I could probably muddle through a really basic conversation that would probably come from someone who's like a 5-year-old in Spanish, right? They'll be like,
same.
"Do you like clouds and snow?" Me encanta nieva.
Pretty good. I don't know weather shit. I know like how to order a cheese sandwich.
Do it.
Un queso bocadillo, por favor.
Also just sandwich.
Sandwich.
Sandwich de queso.
Un café con leche, por favor. La cruenta, por favor.
¿Quieres azúcar con café? Do you want sugar?
Oh. I'm like, what? I was told, actually, well, when I was doing Spanish in school, I was told I had a good accent. And there have been times where, like when I go to Spain, I, throughout the week or 2 weeks, gradually pick up the language again and I remember shit.
Mm-hmm.
Still very basic, don't get me wrong. But apparently I have such a good accent that they think I'm Spanish and they just start speaking to me in Spanish. And I'm like,
that's nice. See, I got told that it sounds like I'm not even trying. When I am.
I'm trying really hard, actually.
Yeah. And the issue is, and I imagine this is true for people who hear me talk and fully speak English, because I've been told before, it's often too fast. So, like, if people could slow down for me, then I probably could get through it. But
they do
I
speak
also,
fast.
just so.
That's it. Sorry,
It would be very funny to go to Spain with you, though, and us muddle through and see what happens, because they'll be like, tell your friend it sounds like she's not even trying. And you'll be like, mucho gusto.
Oh, God, we should do that one day.
Be funny.
Let's go to España.
Yeah. We'll take our mics and record it, too.
We should. Let's do a Spanish episode.
Okay, perfect.
It'll be 5 minutes long.
Now I'm trying to think if I could come up with talking shit with a Yank and a Brit in Spanish.
Talking a shit with a Yank and a Brit. Oh, no, that's Italian.
Also still English.
I know, but...
Well, hablar is talk, and I think talking... Oh, God, this is where I struggle with, like, the conjugates. So it's like hablando? Zach, if you're listening, I know you'll correct me on all of this. So go ahead and translate that for us and get back to me.
Let's get Google Translate up here. Talking shit with a...
I mean, Yank and Brit probably will be the same.
Probably. Two. Oh, fucking. That's a long list, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Hablando. Hablar mier. Oh yeah. Okay. To talk shit. Okay. Hablar mierda con un yank y un Brit.
Well, there's two. There's a feminine or a masculine way of saying it. So, hablando mierda con tirón y una británica. O hablando mierda con uno tirón y un británico.
Oh yeah. Wait, what is yank?
Tirón?
I wonder if that is like the actual verb of yank
Oh,
rather
of
than
yanking, yeah.
American. It would just be Americana, I think, right?
Yeah, okay. So, hablando mierda con una americana y una británica.
There we
See
go.
how good my accent is?
Yeah, we got there. Okay, so that's in our back pocket for a future episode when we meet in Spain. Got it.
Yep. Gotcha.
How are you?
I'm all right, yeah. Just come back from Alan's.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a storm.
Is it Bert still?
No,
It's
what was
Ernie
it?
this time.
Like Gera or something? Gara? I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Weird ass name. Very, very windy. We've had 90-mile-an-hour winds.
Jeez.
There's trees everywhere. And what I've realised, Catherine, is I fucking hate driving at night time when it's wet. Actually, even when it's not wet. I don't like it. I've turned into my nan. I think I may have some sort of stigmatism in my eyes because the fucking lights are blinding and there's lines everywhere. I can't see fuck all, even with my full beams on. I just don't like it. I'd rather not do it, please.
So that's what's been grinding your gears, huh?
Mm-hmm. Also, we put up the Christmas tree this weekend. Had a lovely festive little time. We watched Harry Potter.
The quintessential Christmas movie.
Quintessential Christmas. It's my sort of Christmas movie.
Mm-hmm.
And love it. I say we. I put the Christmas tree up.
No shade to Alan.
No shade, just because I'm a little bit particular with it and I like doing it in a certain way. So,
see, Nigel's the same way. I wouldn't have a Christmas tree if it were.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he wouldn't either. He didn't last year. But this year we've got his family coming round to his on Boxing Day. So I was like, we have to have a tree.
We're having a
where are
fucking
we going to
tree.
put the presents?
You Scrooge.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
now it's all
fair.
festive there. And I've got a bit of beef with the Christmas light companies. Who the fuck is using twinkly twinkles or the fadey dip or half on, half off? And also, why do they put it right at the end? Just the static lights. You have to go through 7 fucking clicks on the plug. Beep, 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 just to get it. Static light. No one uses the flashy lights. So why is it even an option? Why is it not the first option to have static lights? And then the weirdos that want the flashy lights can go through and select it. Why?
Can I maybe say something that might piss you off?
Oh God, yep.
Well, my first question or point is, ooh, you got fancy lights. Those I've never possessed ones that had different settings, but again, I'm also the person who wouldn't have a tree, so that might be why. Secondly,
All lights
are these
that you buy here have different settings?
really?
Yeah.
Are they dual purpose, like indoor outdoor lights?
I don't know, to be honest.
Because that's what I'm wondering is if maybe if you're going to put them outdoors. I have seen like the blinky, fadey, different light patterns outside.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want
have
them
to,
inside,
actually, to be fair.
but
Can you imagine trying to go to bed with fucking flashing lights outside your window? Nightmare.
no, that would suck a lot. But I think you're right. They should have the setting probably be the basic, just constantly on static lights first.
Yeah. It would make sense, wouldn't it? But no, they put it as the last one in the
Well,
seat.
I
And then
guess
if you miss it, you have to go round all again.
maybe it is first, but it just feels like last to
No,
you
it's not.
because okay.
It's not. I'm telling you, I had this issue last year, the year before, and I've got several different light sets as well, because every year I seem to buy new ones, and I don't know why. They're
Mhm.
all fucking same.
When you plug it in, is it on the setting that you had last?
Nope. Goes
It's
flash, flash, flash,
restarts.
flash, 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 flash,
Okay.
flash.
So then it is the last setting. So I
And,
was gonna say, how would you know if it just left it on the setting? Like it could be the first one, and you just are perceiving it as last.
I mean, that'd be fine if it did remember what setting you were on last time. But also, they're not considering people with epilepsy. I could have a fit turning on those Christmas lights.
Is there no disclaimer on the box saying
I did not see a disclaimer, no.
we're gonna make millions?
And this rant got me thinking about something else, okay? I think only women will understand this. But who the fuck is using or no woman wants that. We just want or
What are we talking about here? Are we talking about what I think we're talking about?
probably, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I never really thought about it, but you're right.
Did a man invent it?
Well, they did.
There you go.
Which is interesting because I feel like that doesn't actually simulate anything in the real world either.
No!
Unless you're a robot man.
Unless you're a robot man. But no one is choosing the robot man setting with let me tell you.
Okay. For those out there who maybe do prefer that setting,
Yeah.
let us
You get
know
in
because
touch.
I mean, I think again, those who know what we're talking about.
If you know, you know.
Quite the pivot though, and I think I get your line of thinking
It
of
was,
like the lights to that, but it just makes me I'm thinking about you being pissed at these lights and then just immediately being and another thing. Now that I'm in this mindset.
Talking of settings.
That's so funny. But yeah. Yeah, what the fuck? I mean, I think clearly this was a man's design. So
Which is just the company's like, oh my god, there's 20,000 settings on this. We don't need that.
do you
I'm
want to feel
telling you
like you're
now.
getting punched? Or Morse code for happy birthday? You're gonna love it.
You are gonna love it. It's the new best thing since AI.
Anonymous review saying, I am a female and not at all a fake reviewer, but my personal favorite is the kind that makes it feel like you went 6 rounds in the ring with Mike Tyson, who punched to the beat of Jingle Bell Rock.
I am a human reviewer.
Yep. Oh, that seems legit.
Yeah. What have you been up to?
I'm trying to think if there's anything that I want to rant about, but honestly, you kind of threw me for a loop here. I'm still thinking about what you just said. I've been fine. A little busy. I think listeners at home probably have noticed our new publication pattern, which is every other week now. Probably for a little while, it'll be like that. To accommodate our busy schedules, but also give us time to create and think about things that really piss us off.
This could be a bi-weekly segment of things that piss Gemma off.
Rants and raves. What's grinding our gears today? I've been generally pissed off since the election results and all the response, all the people have come out of their woodwork to say shit like your body, my choice, and other shit. So that makes me mad.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. So. And you have to put up with different settings. Do you know what I mean? Give us a fucking break.
Yeah. So your body, I get to decide the setting too.
Yeah. Imagine that if they just took away the
Oh god. Well, we might actually have the what was the 4B movement or whatever if that
Yeah,
happens.
exactly.
um it's getting colder here, not too much snow. I think Nigel's going to set up our Christmas tree today,
Ooh.
and I
Do the cats play with it?
I think
Or they're
if I
not
remember
fussed?
correctly from last year, Chips did try to, but didn't like put too much effort into it, so it was okay. It's a relatively small tree, just in case it does get knocked over, that nothing bad will happen. But I have had cats like fully climb our full ass trees and pull it down and break ornaments and just like hang out in the tree.
Awesome.
So I think, the myths about cats and Christmas trees are true.
Mm, they love an indoor tree,
Yeah.
and who can blame them?
Lucy's too blind and potato shaped to care. So,
Poor little potato Lucy.
yeah,
Oh, I
she's my
love
baked
Lucy.
potato.
Little baked potato Lucy Poo.
I made up a song for the cats earlier to a song by Kasabian, but I'm not going to sing it here. So,
Uh-oh.
because I can't even remember how it goes. But
They
do you
do
know the
tend to be in the moment, do you know what I mean? They just
Yeah,
come out. It's just like natural flowing creativity when you're talking to your pets, and suddenly you're a
yeah.
lyrical genius.
Yeah, I mean, the only time I ever like made note of it was when I came up with alternative lyrics to Lizzo's "Why men great till they gotta be great" for Momo. Like I made up a whole song for it. And I was like, I gotta write this down.
It's actually available on Spotify,
hmm
kids. So
Yep. Yep.
yeah.
Um. Anyway, I think we had a couple throwback differences between the Brits and the Yanks that
Mm.
we were gonna discuss for a minute, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yes,
Yes.
queen. Yeah,
So
you go
yeah,
ahead and introduce that because you might be surprised at my opinion.
yeah. So I had a friend of the pod send me a request to discuss this. I believe it was my friend Kim. Hey Kim, thanks.
Hi, Cam.
And basically, it was she shared it on Instagram. I sent it to G on Instagram, and the post is by I am 30AF, which is a great account. Very funny, uh, much funny, very very nice. My wife, um, and someone named Gemma Rossity, no relation to Gemma here,
Or is it?
said, "Oh, maybe. I mean, you went viral then."
Finally.
And Gemma Rossity wrote, I can't believe Americans on TV really say rock, paper, scissors like it's paper, rock, scissors. Oh my God, do you in real life Americans actually say rock, paper, scissors? And then I don't know what RB is, but RB this with whether you say paper, scissors, rock, or rock, paper, scissors. And then someone named Future Cat Ladies said, me normally. Linguistic differences are so interesting and cool. I love hearing different dialectical variations. Me reading paper, scissors, rock with my own two eyeballs. The Lord is testing me, which is how I feel about it. So you tell me where you're at on this.
Well, I found this somewhat confusing because I have always says, I have always says rock, paper, scissors.
Okay. That's how you learned it.
That's how I learned it. I've never heard other ways of saying it. So maybe I'm American.
I think you are. I feel like Nigel says it the British way, though.
Does
He's
he?
not here for me to confirm. I should have, but um, I feel like I've heard paper, scissors, rock, which is very weird to me. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, it doesn't flow. It doesn't roll off the tongue. It doesn't sound right. I don't like it. Rock, paper, scissors is
What?
its name.
Like, it makes me wonder, like, how it is it because of it can't be alphabetical.
No, it's not. It's not alphabetical, is it?
I wonder what the comments are like. Okay. The first one says, I heard Americans also say shoot afterwards, which, yes, both.
Well, like
Like, and I think the
rock,
shoot
paper,
is,
scissors, shoot.
yeah, because it's like count of three or on three, right? Like after three, or,
Yeah,
and so the shoot is like the agreement to that's when you throw, right?
yeah.
And then someone goes, shooting is a core memory of every high schooler in America, which is so dark. Oh
One of them
boy.
is, I'm from Australia and say scissors, paper, rock.
Do you think that's true, or are they just fucking with us?
I don't know.
Oh, someone said literally about to comment this. That's because you guys are upside down. Okay. Okay. Australia entered the chat to just be like, we can do it crazier.
We can do what we want. I like this one. I'm British and have always said rock, paper, scissors, like me. I'm with you. What is this person on? Do they say pepper and salt as well? Deck and ant, chips and fish? They need to have a word with themselves. Absolute walnut.
What is deck and ant?
So Ant and Deck are like a presenter duo
Oh, okay.
that are famous in England. And no one
Deck.
ever
Deck
calls
is
them
second.
Deck and Ant, yeah.
Okay.
And they even stand like Ant and
In
Deck
that order.
in that order, yeah.
I felt this way just seeing this comment as you read it, and someone also said this absolute walnut is a great insult. I
It is,
agree.
yeah. Absolute walnut.
It makes me think of some other that's like new insults for people that are like not really that mean. It's like you're such a spam email.
That's good. I like that.
Um so Germany, the order is scissor rock paper.
I mean, I guess there's no it's not an official game, I guess, is it? It's not been
Mm-mm.
trademarked, so you can say what you want, but it just doesn't feel right.
No. I mean there's lots of things that it feels better to say at a particular order. I used to think about it in terms of like names. And so, like, my brother and I, for example, does it sound better to say Alex and Katie when I used to go by Katie, or Katie and Alex? I think Katie and Alex sounds better.
Yeah, does sound better.
See?
Hmm.
So, I mean, just makes sense to, and maybe rock, paper, scissors sounds better to us because it's like one syllable and then two syllables. And scissors has the S on it too. So it is like a nice end cap.
Yeah, I like it. And there's probably science behind this. Like when we were deciding our name for the band, there's certain phrases that sound nicer to the human ear because of the way the vowels are used.
Mm-hmm.
So like you wouldn't have um I can't even remember what it was. Henry was talking about it and he's a very clever individual, but there's certain vowels in order that just sound odd and off,
Yeah.
whereas others flow with each other. So that's
Well, and you guys love your
just
fucking vowels that you don't pronounce. Sorry, shots fired.
like what?
Bournemouth, Leicester.
What about Worcestershire?
Worcester. I don't know. I
Worcestershire.
would say
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire, Worcestershire, and I think people are like, "It's Worcester," and I'm like,
It's
"That
Worcester.
sounds stupid." That actually sounds ugly to
It
me.
does, I suppose. Yeah, you're right. I saw a brilliant video the other day, which I'll send to you if I can find it again. And it was a guy talking about. I think we have spoken about this on the pod before, but when the British people say "all right"
Oh
and all the
yes.
different connotations with it. So it was
Mm-hmm.
like someone walking past someone, "You all right?" is "How are you?"
Yeah.
And then "all right" it's like "all right, calm down."
Yep.
Um, what was the other ones?
All right.
All right.
Like a simple like oh poor
Mm.
thing, right?
I can't remember the rest, but they're very funny, so I will send them to you. Didn't even realize it was a thing with us because we just use it in so many different contexts.
And it took me forever to figure them out too, you know? And I think we did talk about this because I truly, like, I think the first time Nigel's mom or even like you or some of the other crew said it to me, I was like, yeah, yes, I'm fine. I'm fine. Stop asking me. I'm okay.
Oh, here we go. I've got it. So there's all right, which is hello. When you're talking about someone, you go, he's all right. He's terrible company.
So polite you guys are.
When you're talking to someone and they make a statement, and you go, all right, that's you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Are you all right? Are you crazy?
Which is, I think, how I felt. What everyone was asking me initially is like that was kind of like
are you mentally disturbed?
Like, yes, is everything okay? Do you need some help?
This one. All right, it's not a problem. And all right, as in correct. There's a lot.
So inflection, tone, like how long it's drawn out. I think face also makes a difference there. So interesting. I guess it's kind of the equivalent, and maybe you guys do this too, but when people are like, yeah, no, yeah, means no.
Yeah.
No, yeah, means yeah. Yeah, no means not a chance.
I do struggle with that one. I'm like, what are you saying?
It's hard because you start with the one that you don't mean, right? So no, yeah means yeah, sure. Language.
Oh, language.
Oh, language.
Or, English language.
Yeah, truly. Though there are certain things that I've in doing Duolingo Spanish, because I took a lot of Spanish and some of it like came back to me really fast. But there are some things that I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever understand this or be able to like adequately translate this from English to Spanish because of these like little subtleties that there's no direct translation, and it turns out that I absolutely need that. Like I will always forget the ami me a ti te gusta because like the a ti part doesn't have a direct translation for me to remember that it needs to go in the front.
No.
And so someone needs to explain that to me.
It's one of those things that I think you'd only nail it if you lived in a Spanish-speaking country.
Yeah, I think obviously working, like speaking it conversationally, all of that really makes a difference. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I also get really confused with like the masculine and feminine things. I'm like, how is a chair masculine or feminine?
Well, and things like that doesn't bother me as much because that's just the word, right? Like chair is never gonna not be what it is in Spanish, even though it ends in an A, right? It's gonna, or table, it's gonna always end that way. But like when the things that can change, which is usually like a female British person or a male American, right? That changes. The things that throw me off are the ones that don't end in A or O. It ends in an E, like tarde, I think or like la noche is la noche. It's feminine, even though it doesn't end in an A or an E. So it's like,
well, what is it?
It's neither, but it's feminine. Anyway.
Yeah.
Speaking of language, and we've already kind of made a few references to this, we're going to talk a little bit about AI, aren't we?
We are. The robots are taking over.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think I wanted to hear more from you because you had talked about some of the podcasts and things that you would listen to and what they talked about. But I went through and kind of found just some information relating to AI and jobs, whether there's some myths or like the fears should exist, or if people are maybe like kind of fearing nothing or overblowing it. So.
Yeah, it's interesting, really. I mean, in theory, AI could pretty much take over any job. And the scary thing about it is that it's always learning. It's always developing, taking on more data. It can essentially overpass us in intelligence, overtake us in intelligence. When it comes to data, it's 10 times faster than, well, a million times faster than us. It can remember everything. And yeah, I've listened to a few podcasts and watched a few things with people from like ex-Google officers, people that, you know, worked in the initial stages of AI development, and subsequently left because they were extremely concerned about the way it was being used, how it was growing exponentially without any parameters or legislation, and it's potentially very scary if we let it scare us.
Yeah.
Like everything else in the world. Especially things like what Elon's up to, whacking chips in people's heads. It's
I mean, that's the shit you see on like the futuristic sci-fi movies, and ultimately it's like not a good thing
no, exactly.
in those contexts, right?
I can see the theoretical benefits of it.
But people don't use that shit for good. They use it for evil.
Exactly. And that's what a lot of these people are saying, is that the problem is it falling into the wrong hands. If it was with the right people who had purely good intentions for it and just wanted to maximize the benefits for humankind, then great. But unfortunately, that is not what is going to happen.
No, no.
No, I don't know if it's German there. The only thing I think it can't replicate is creativity, which some people may argue against because AI is now creating music. Some of it's very questionable. And art, again, when we made the Colin of Moldova artwork, it cannot do hands.
Was that our error, though? Input error, or the AI's
No,
fault?
it's AI's
Is the
fault.
question.
But it can never replicate, for example, live music. It could never replicate live sport. Even if the robots got very good at kicking balls about, I don't think people would be that into watching robots kicking balls.
Well, and I think that's the thing. I'll let you finish, but I think it's what people want and are willing to seek out. Sorry, carry on.
What were the other points? It could also be really dangerous in... Well, I think there are some benefits to it. So, for example, being used in like medicine and things like that. Currently, doctors obviously are human and can only, retain a certain amount of information. And in my personal life, there's been a lot of medical issues with family members and stuff. And there have been points where I thought, if a computer was dealing with this now, we wouldn't be waiting this fucking long. There would have already been a diagnosis, a prescription prescribed, and it would have all the information readily available in the whole world to come to a conclusion about what the issue is. And with humans, we can't do that because we don't have everything. But then if you move into things like law, like criminal trials, for example, it can get a bit dicey. Like,
It's because there's nuance in those things.
Exactly, yeah.
There's nuance in medical care too, right? But I think there's the things that can kind of not standard, but like there is a protocol that is consistent regardless. And then there are the things that there's subtleties and nuance and slight differences that kind of greatly impact the outcome. Like in a lot of different things. I think that's what you're trying to say, or you did say.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
I said it in a roundabout way. There's huge concern in the industry about the concept of singularity, where basically AI becomes more intelligent than humans.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
How is
so,
that not true already? Because I feel like in a way our phones and like computers are kind of artificial intelligence, and I do think my phone's probably smarter than me. Like my
probably,
phone
yeah.
I go to my phone to look up stuff. And I know that's not quite what we're talking about here, but in a sense, it sort of is. Like lots of things are smarter than us, and that's why we rely on them to help us be smarter.
Exactly. And we want that because it helps us
Mm-hmm.
do our daily shit, you know?
Mm-hmm.
The issues we're facing are job displacement, obviously, which we talked
Yeah.
about. Like, if it gets so good, there could potentially be billions of people without work. Then what happens?
Yeah.
The
Well,
robots
like
have
I
taken
said,
over, and we all live underground.
right. Well, I can't remember if I said this last time or if I said it in response to my friend Britt, who was like, "You guys should talk about this." But I was like, if robots take all our jobs and we don't have jobs, we don't have money to go spend where the robots are working, and like the companies
Yeah.
don't get our money then. So it'd be really
Then everything
dumb.
fails.
Yeah, it'd be really dumb to replace every single job because none of us would have money then.
Yeah, exactly. This ex-Google officer also mentioned like scenarios where AI might unintentionally or deliberately cause harm.
Mm-hmm.
For example, altering environments or like accessing critical infrastructure. It could access the nuclear codes, for example,
Yeah.
and set it off. That could be
Just because someone maybe,
the shit.
I mean, here's the thing that I think about is someone's got to like oversee it, right? Like someone's got to direct it to do the thing or like
Mm,
give it input stuff to get stuff back. Maybe not every single thing, but like with Chat GPT, you have to tell it what you need first. It doesn't
yeah.
just anticipate our needs. Like it has to be
No.
directed. And so I think that goes back to people using it for evil and not good, but
Mm,
like it seems to me like there will at least be positions or jobs, quote unquote, to like cross
input the
check.
data.
And yeah. So
But at some point it will know all the data. It will know more than we know.
bum bum bum.
Because it's forever learning and forever improving itself. But things like as well, like it won't replace human contact and relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear about is it Lamar Oden?
Yeah, Lamar Odom. One of the
Khloe
Kardashian
Kardashian's.
exes. Yeah, yeah.
He's apparently got a robot sex doll of
Oh
Khloe
my god.
Kardashian.
Gross.
How would you feel if one of your exes had a replica sex doll of you? Like,
I would
what the
be
fuck?
yes. So like that, then I'd also be like, I feel like you needed probably my permission to use my likeness in that way. Like would be like I would go to the company who made it, right? And be like, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
And I'd also feel really weirded out about my ex having that because I would be like, I mean, you dumped me for a reason. What about you? Or would you just be flattered? You'd be like, yeah, I know
I'd be
I'm all
like, oh,
that.
I know. You just couldn't get enough.
Yeah, I think that's upsetting though.
Yeah, I know.
Because it's kind of like you could just get a sex robot or whatever.
I
It
know. You
doesn't
don't have
need
to
to be a
base it on someone. Come on.
yeah. I mean, celebrity. I get people probably like some virtual stranger, unknown, nobody getting a sex robot of Kim Kardashian or you know Ariana Grande or
Mm.
whoever they. I think that, but then I think artists would be like, or celebrities would be like, yeah, you can use my likeness, pay me a fuck ton of money, and
Yeah,
people can have a sex doll of me.
that's it. Talking of the Kardashians, did you see the photo shoot of Kim Kardashian? Did we talk about this last time?
We did a little bit, and I think I looked at it then, and it I mean, to me, it's just like sometimes it just feels like people do anything for money, no matter how weird or off the wall it is. And so, like, I think I was kind of more like, why would she do that? But I also, yeah, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. But the
So,
robot was Elon Musk's, right?
yeah, it's a Tesla one.
So this one is Kim Kardashian cozying up to a robot is another example of how AI is entering our lives. And there's just like this weirdly sexual photo shoot.
It's so fucking weird.
Is that the type of robot it was?
Do you think she was directed in that, or she thought, you know what, I'm going to do a really sexy photo shoot with this robot because it is fit?
Well, I'm guessing probably she was, just because of how she like was made up in the robot or in the shoot. Like, you don't get made up like that and have that outfit and without it being kind of I think meant to be a little bit sexy, because that's sex sells, right?
Mm. And we are talking about it, so
Yeah,
you know.
true, we are.
So I thought it would be fun to ask ChatGPT, do you think there is a danger to humans with AI? And this
What'd
is
it
what it
say?
told me. It said yes.
Well,
There are potential dangers associated with AI, but these risks depend on how it is developed, deployed, and managed. Experts often highlight the following concerns. The key risks of AI to humans. Number one, the loss of jobs and economic disruption. Automation powered by AI could replace many human jobs, particularly in industries like manufacturing, transportation, customer service, leading to widespread economic displacement. Studies predict millions of jobs could be affected globally without adequate planning for reskilling and workforce transition. Number two, bias and inequality. AI systems can perpetuate or amplify existing biases if trained on biased data, potentially leading to discriminatory outcomes in areas like hiring, criminal justice, and lending. This
mm-hmm.
can deepen social and economic inequalities. Autonomous weapons. AI weapons could make war more accessible and less accountable, increasing the risks of conflict and misuse by authoritarian. Fuck. There's always one word every episode that I can't say.
It's okay.
Misuse by authoritarian regimes or rogue actors. Number four, loss of privacy and surveillance. AI enables mass data collection and analysis, potentially infringing on privacy rights. Advanced surveillance systems can be used for invasive monitoring or oppression. Number five, existential risks and misaligned goals. Advanced AI systems could act in ways misaligned with human intentions, especially if their goals conflict with ours, e.g., optimizing efficiency without considering ethical implications. The singularity scenario, where AI surpasses human intelligence, raising concerns about control and unintended consequences. An environmental impact. Training and running large AI models consume significant computational resources, contributing to energy use and environmental degradation. Blah, blah, blah.
I saw that recently, that like AI is actually hugely bad for the environment, and I assume that's just because of all of the
The processing power
servers.
needed.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Just like I think cryptocurrency mining
Mm-hmm.
does the
Yeah, it's the
same.
same thing. Yeah. It also goes on to sort of say how we can mitigate the risks. So, like bringing in regulation and ethics,
Mm-hmm.
human AI collaboration, transparency and explainability. Yeah, and talking about like prominent figures like Elon Musk and Stephen Hawking have warned about the existential threats of AI if not carefully controlled,
Oh,
emphasizing the
Musk
need
has
for
warned,
he's
not
yeah.
perpetuated.
Mm. On the other hand, experts like Andrew
Hey.
NG. Andrew and
Oh,
Ing.
I think that's pronounced wen or eng.
Is it? Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Loads of silent vowels there. Focus on addressing immediate challenges such as bias and job displacement rather than hypothetical future risks. So we shall
Yeah.
see.
So,
The problem is, I think what the issue is it's kind of gone too far already.
yeah. I mean, what,
Regulations
the
and
sex
stuff.
robot or
Like it's reached a point like global warming where
Yeah.
you know it's now too far down the road to regulate it. And
Well, they can, but the question is whether it would pass
mm,
or people would support it. I think in America, like people with money who have a particular
a vested
agenda can,
interest in it.
yeah,
Mm.
lobby and kind of convince legislatures to, reject or further things that, I mean, yeah.
Mm.
So
I guess we'll see in 50 years, won't we, whether they've
that
taken
was
over or not.
so interesting you say that because a lot of the things that I read, both kind of saying fears fears are valid and fears aren't as valid, and here's why. Like a lot of it was like probably a lot of things because of just the nature of a certain field moves really slowly.
Mm.
Like we probably won't see mental health care go fully AI because of how long that takes, but also, someone kills themselves after talking to an AI robot, like that's going to be the thing that people are reacted to, even though there's people who kill themselves all the time and have human therapists. So,
Yeah.
anyway, one of the interesting factoids I saw was that AI, if it does impact jobs, it's going to be disproportionately women's jobs, first of all.
Oh, great.
Yes, 79% of working women have positions that are susceptible to automation versus 58% of working men, which means that it's the jobs that probably you're thinking of, which is administrative work
Yeah.
and HR. Weirdly, one of the articles I read actually said creativity, content, like content writers, creative work, graphic design are more at risk because of what AI can do with making music and art and stuff. And of course, that's where I came in thinking, and it was kind of reinforced by some of these articles was, but it also depends on the consumers. People
Yeah.
tend to prefer things with the human touch, even if there's an AI help with it, right?
Mm.
Um, and so, there are past fears about it kind of replacing tedious, repetitive work. So, like the person at the factory line who just puts the thing on, and
Yeah.
but
I
advances has
saw the other
really
day, sorry, that
no, go ahead.
Amazon, their workforce is, I think, now 70% AI and robot. Like in the factories, the packing and the
Yeah, I'm
processing
sure
is
their
all
workforce is
robots. Like,
primarily either the people overseeing the robots or the people delivering the
mm.
packages because they haven't quite figured out like there might be self-driving vans, but they haven't figured out the best way to get the package to the door.
Yeah, I did
So,
see a thing about that because they were looking into like drones delivering
oh, I think
packages a while ago.
I think that still is a thing and
Is
probably
it?
still like it's happening in certain areas. Where I live is a big test area, or there's like Amazon has got a site here. So like we get the same day shit.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but I don't know if they have drones here. But one thing I didn't know, did you know that Paul McCartney used AI to generate John Lennon's voice
No,
for a posthumous Beatles song? Yeah,
I
I guess it
do not
worked out well too.
know. You can see it happening already. Just on like YouTube videos and stuff. Like there's
Mhm.
certain like people I follow or guided meditations that I want to do, which
Mhm.
I probably shouldn't admit this because I should buy them rather than looking for them free on YouTube. But you can tell now that loads of them are AI generated because there's
Mhm.
just a slight, there's
Something
not
seems a little
quite the
off.
inflection of
Yeah.
a natural person talking.
Mhm.
And that's quite annoying,
Um
but they're really good.
I kind of panicked for a second when I saw legal being one, but it was primarily the things like paralegal and administrative assistants who doc review, contract analysis, legal research, or case law research and stuff, and like scheduling meetings. But then I read
Mm.
something about how there was this program that was maybe tested about me, like could it help with mediations in some sense, and but it was still like, I think the point of that article was like it still needs like a
Human.
human to kind of oversee and ensure, because like a lot of the stuff so far, like it's lower quality
Mm.
responses, or it needs to be checked for errors. And but the GPT-4 passed the uniform bar exam in the 90th percentile, which is kind of like, okay, yeah, because you have all this, like if I had all this data in my brain, I could
Mm. If I
very
didn't
easily
forget
pass.
anything, I'd be
Yeah,
fucking
this
great as well.
so like that sort of stuff doesn't really surprise me, but I'm thinking about my work and whether AI could effectively do what I do in the same way. And it's the same with like like I agree with you about the medical field, but I also think like there's something about that even we can't, even if I were feeding symptoms and shit into, an AI thing to get diagnosed, like stuff that I don't even know, but maybe a doctor could look at me and be like, your eyes are like really, like that is a sign of something too,
Mm.
and ask
Yeah.
questions that perhaps maybe one day it could get that far. But as of
Mm.
right now, there still needs to be a lot of oversight.
Yeah.
So one article is kind of saying like these fields are at risk. A lot of it was I mean, it did say teachers, it did say travel, tourism, finance too, engineering, which I guess if it's designing and making sure like shit's gonna be like running effectively,
Yeah.
HR, supply chain, translators and interpreters, all of that. But I also think about the ones that I work with and I'm like, they also get nuance, inflection, slang, you know,
Yeah.
better than maybe AI.
Mm. A
Um,
moment.
but then the other article was like, we don't need to be as scared about it as we need to be. Of course, like some jobs probably could be made redundant fully based on the work, but that's where, becoming skilled in how to use it to your advantage, and upskill, like you said, and so that you can be like, I'm familiar with this it's like another tool. It's like being proficient
Yeah.
with Word and Excel, right? Um, but that it could stunt productivity, produce an overabundance of low quality content that would
Mm.
require humans to basically review, modify, and supplement with their own work,
Yeah.
And then really we should be looking at it as uh, a way to increase efficiency or transform that we can use to supplement our work rather than fully replace us. And there's still going to be that demand for human contact and
Yeah.
touch.
And I think that's
Like,
originally what it was, that's what it's made
hmm
for efficiency and proficiency. But is that the case?
well, yeah, I think it's the question of, would companies rather look at the bottom line of,
Mm.
I think so. It was an article about, no, it was a Reddit post where this guy said, my friend did this particular thing and they told him that they were testing his work against AIs and that his numbers were better. And so that they weren't going to, ultimately pursue the AI option. But then he got
Yeah.
laid off a month later because they were like, oh, well, actually, he makes $60,000 to $70,000, and even though he has better
Yeah.
numbers, what AI can do is going to save a
Mm.
$60,000 to $70,000 a year. So it wasn't even
Exactly.
about like his production; it was about money that they saved.
Mm.
So yeah, AI could be inefficient or fuck up one of every 8 buttons that they have to put in the factory, but they don't have to pay it, you know?
Exactly. It never sleeps,
Yeah.
never gets tired, it never goes on holiday,
Yep, doesn't get
never
sick.
takes a break, never gets sick. So you can see why companies and employers would like it. But I think it all comes back to what we need as humans and as
Mhm.
a species always comes back to human connection.
Yeah,
That's why we lived in tribes. It's why we live in communities. It's why we have friends and family. And it's why isolation and imprisonment is a punishment for humans, because it
mhm.
fucks us up if we are not interconnected with other human beings. And that
That's
is
why I think
taken
there's
away
higher
from
rates of
us.
depression for people who maybe don't have a big social circle, who do find themselves staying at home, being on social media, staring at screens more, is because they don't have that connection, and
Exactly.
it makes them sad. And
Yes.
that's like, I think someone said on Reddit, like, "Oh, people would always prefer to be able to just, like, deal with an AI," and I was like, "No,
No.
and people reacted to that too, like, "Are you crazy? Like, that's not true.
Mm.
We are hardwired by nature as a species to be social."
Yeah.
So
That is what our whole thing is about. And, like, I fucking hate it when you're, on a web chat with a fucking web bot. And you're
mhm.
like, "No, I just wanna speak to a human being." Or if
So
they
and that's where I'm willing to accept it, right? Like, I can accept having a chatbot to initially deal with an inquiry on a website, because, like, if I wanna cut straight to the chase, then I'll either just say agent or I'll call. Like, I'll just call then if I
Yeah,
wanna avoid that,
yeah.
you know? So because it will, like, there's still people who can help, like, provide service that way. It's just, like, the front line, and I can accept that. But do I want my doctor, my gyno, to be a robot or
No,
something I
thanks.
just have to feed information into, and then they'd be like, "Oh, well, sounds like you need to have your cervix removed."
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, I've already removed it.
Painless.
What?
Just well, that would be impressive.
That'd be pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it is annoying because it's kinda like, I'm on this website trying to initiate a return or deal with a
mm,
issue, and it's kinda like, "Oh, what's your problem? Return. Oh, is it any of these options?
yeah.
No. Well, I can't help you. Yeah,
Bye.
give me an agent, or just give me the option to go straight. Like, do you
Yeah.
wanna talk to me first or agent?"
What's really annoying is when you do call a company and you go through all the options, and then
Mhm.
it's just like, "Visit our website. Bye."
Yeah.
Fuck's sake.
And then I just won't shop there anymore.
Yeah, okay, bye.
Oh god. Well,
Yeah,
I
we'll see
think
what
that, like,
happens.
if everything, we'll see what happens. There are things that there's pros to it. There's definitely some cons to it. That really comes down to the people in power and in charge and how they use it, and
Mm,
comes back to what kind of world do you want to live in?
yeah.
Are you for a collective human group? Let's all elevate society. Or are you individualistic and think get as much money as you can? Who cares about everyone else?
Mm,
If so, fuck you.
go home.
Yeah, but I think if you want to be able to go to the doctor and see a doctor, then maybe you need to think about how AI, could limit that, and whether that's something that you support.
Amen, sister.
Amen.
Well, on that conclusion, should we do an Am I the Arsehole?
I think we should, baby.
Mama, hey.
Who's being an asshole today?
Right, okay, well. Am I the arsehole for outing my straight, in quotes, best friend after he hooked up with me?
Ooh.
Mm. So I, 22 male, have been best friends with, I'll call him Jake, 23 male, since high school. Jake has always identified as straight and has even poked fun at me for being gay when we were younger. Nothing overtly hateful, but stuff like, "Oh, you're lucky I'm secure in my masculinity, bro," or "Don't fall in love with me, haha."
Okay.
Recently, Jake went through a bad breakup with his girlfriend of 3 years. He was heartbroken and turned to me for support. We started hanging out more and more, and one night, after a few too many drinks, things kind of got intimate. He kissed me first, and I was shocked. But then I went with it because I've always had a low key crush on him. In brackets, I'm practically in love with him.
Mm-hmm.
One thing led to another, and we ended up sleeping together. The next morning, Jake completely freaked out. He apologized over and over, saying it was a mistake and he was just drunk and that he's definitely not gay. I told him it was fine, but I was hurt. Not just because he brushed it off, but because he felt like he was ashamed of what happened.
Sure.
Since then, he's been distant. When I tried to talk with him, he shut me down and said I should forget it never happened. That hurt me even more. I felt used, like I was just an experiment or a way for him to cope with his breakup. Here's where it gets messy. A few days ago, we were at a party with some mutual friends, and someone jokingly asked if Jake and I had ever hooked up. Jake laughed and said, "No way, I'd never do anything with a guy," and added some rude comment like, "I have standards, I'd never be that desperate." I saw red. Without thinking, I said, well, that's funny because you didn't seem to have any problems with it last weekend. The room went
Ooh, that came out right away. Interesting.
The room went painfully quiet and awkward. Jake stormed out, and now everyone knows. Some of our friends are saying that I was out of line for outing him, but others think he had it coming after the way he treated me. Jake hasn't spoken to me since, and I'm starting to feel guilty. Am I the asshole for outing my best friend after he tried to humiliate me?
Gemma, this is a hard one.
I know. Ooh.
Because, like, on one hand, I feel like it's probably it's not really ever okay to like just out someone,
Mm.
it's got to be on their terms. And before I heard what he said, I was kind of like, okay, so this guy maybe is still struggling with his own sexuality, which is hard. I get that. But also, like, as soon as I heard what he said, I'm kind of like, well, fuck you, dude. That's,
Yeah.
first of all, pretty homophobic. And one of your
Mhm.
best friends who you did hook up with, you you basically just said that about him.
Yeah.
And so, like, I f- I mean, they're both kind of assholes in this situation for sure. Jake, like, what the fuck? You could have just been. You could have, like, I was drunk. I'm not sure why that happened. I feel like I like want to think about this. I don't know if I really want to talk about it right now. Whatever. I like want to be your friend, or maybe I need some space from you, because like that kind of dynamic could happens between, you know, people who are friends and both are, pretty secure in their sexuality, male, female, 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 male, male, whatever. But it's the friendship portion of it that is kind of the problem, right?
Mm.
So like Jake could have handled it that way. And it sounds like despite him not, OP was kind of like, well, like kind of hurtful, but I get it in a way. So I guess it could have just been like, I don't want to talk about, like, I don't want people to know right now. I don't really want, I need to figure this out on my own. I'll come to you if I need to talk about this more, but also you're the person I hooked up with, which makes it kind of complicated. So, like, his own shame and confusion and uncertainty about his sexuality caused him to, like, deflect in such a cruel way that I can't blame OP for saying that, even if it also was kind of a dick move. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, it's I feel like everyone's the arsehole in this situation, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um I understand where the OP's coming from. Uh and yeah, I just, you shouldn't out someone, but then I can also understand how his feelings were hurt. Um
Mhm.
it's tricky. I mean, in the comments sort of say the same thing. Like, some people are
I could have
saying
just
not the
said no.
arsehole, some people are saying you're the arsehole, some people are really berating this guy for taking advantage of a drunk friend. Um,
Well, yeah, and I suppose that is an added layer, but I guess the way I read it is they were
both
both
drunk, yeah.
drunk and
And there has been an edit from the original poster.
ooh.
He says, edit, everyone is calling me horrific things and I'm genuinely fucking sobbing. I was told to put this comment of mine up. I hate making it front and center, but everyone is imagining me to be able to do the worst and vile, absolute worst and vile things. This is how it went down. Um, as I also mentioned, I was significantly more drunk and he was the one in control. He
Mm.
wasn't the one left with bruises. He wasn't the ones with aches and pains and bloody underwear. I was. People want to act like I'm some sort of violent criminal when part of me feels like it's completely the opposite way round. And by no means am I saying that he raped me. I consented, but had I been sober, things would have been a lot different.
Mhm.
I basically came out of it feeling like a punching bag, both emotionally and physically. So,
So Jake in his probably being questioning his sexuality and whether he's attracted to his friend or men also hates that part of himself, got drunk and basically
took it out on him.
had really kind of rough sex
Mm.
with his friend where he also kind of treated him as if he was like he was disgusted by him, maybe.
Yeah. Sounds like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, woofed. Well, I'm glad it didn't immediately occur to me that this person took advantage of his friend, but
No, I didn't read it that way either. Um,
and I think that really highlights Jake's shame, which is why he reacted the way he did when they asked, which you could have just been like, no, just said no. No,
yeah,
we're friends. Like people lie about that stuff all the time until they figure out what's going on between them. You didn't
exactly.
need to be like, "Oh no, that's disgusting. I have standards." Like, ew.
Yeah, I mean, this person, one of the top comments is, "Yeah, I don't think you guys are best friends anymore." So I think that's
Yeah.
kind of sums it up. There's also someone else saying you're the arsehole purely for that edit, trying to turn Jake into some violent rapist after most comments on here weren't on your side. Nowhere in your original post did you say anything about Jake being violent or attacking you. That's beyond low and scummy for trying to rewrite things for sympathy after getting dragged.
I don't fair. I don't know if I feel like he said that though. I feel like he said it was like not necessarily an enjoyable encounter, but it was consensual.
Yeah. This person said, everyone's the asshole. His behaviour and dismissive of you was very telling of what kind of friend he is, and you have every right to be angry. But it's also never okay to out someone. Please be kind to yourself. You are worthy of love and respect.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Everybody
so
sucks here.
everyone
Yeah.
sucks, I'm afraid. Uh,
Do you I'm just like thinking about that happening. Like they're drinking together, and if this person's far more drunk and in love with Jake, whether or not they have the bandwidth to kind of be like, we shouldn't do this, like let's
mm,
not. And I think probably always harboring a secret crush makes it very easy, but it just makes me wonder about like the circumstances leading up to that. Where did this person maybe send, and I'm not trying to say this makes anything, I'm just wondering about like what made Jake then choose drunkenly or not that moment to like explore that. Do you know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah, I get what you're saying. Because he had a choice the whole time.
Yeah.
And it's not like you go from just friends 1 minute to shagging the
Mhm.
next. Like,
Yeah.
there's a process.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I think even in drunken states, people,
you know what you're doing
well,
to
I'm
an
not going to
extent.
say that because I think there are times in incidents where that is not true. I'm thinking more about two friends who, like, they're not so drunk that they don't know what they're doing with each other, is what I mean,
Yeah.
right? It's not like he thinks he's making out with his girlfriend or the
Mm,
OP is making out with someone, not Jake. And like, so I'm wondering about all of the things leading up to that point where Jake wasn't maybe honest with himself or OP wasn't honest with himself, where they both were leaning into it with the support of alcohol and because of how their respective feelings are towards themselves and their sexuality and what they think they are.
mm,
I mean, we know that people who are in the closet and struggling like to even acknowledge to themselves what their identity is for a variety of reasons feel a lot of shame there.
yeah.
And that shame is projected. We know people would bully people and be closeted in some way, right?
Hmm.
And so I don't know. Like it I think things happened before that night
Mm.
that really kind of drove it in that direction though.
Yeah. I
And I
mean,
don't know
I
who's
wouldn't be
responsible.
surprised.
Yeah.
It could be the
Mm,
party, it could be both.
yeah. Mm.
Um,
Well,
yeah,
I think
shit all round, and I'm sorry that the OP has lost a friend.
mhm.
Maybe one day, once Jake has come to terms with his feelings
Yeah.
and sexuality, then maybe There could be a conversation around what happened and some forgiveness. But until then, just hang out with people and try and fall in love with people who are decent.
Yeah, and who know what they are and what they want.
Yeah.
Because I think it's hard to walk that line with someone who is still trying to figure it out.
Yep. Agreed.
Well, on that
Well,
note, I hope you have a great week.
thank you.
Excuse me. I hope the storm passes and you don't have to drive at night anytime soon.
I refuse. Even though I
Just-
can't
yeah.
because I finish work by the time it's dark now. So.
No, you just need to get a driver. Alan.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Alan. Why aren't you driving me?
Well, so see you next time.
See you next time. Thank you for talking all the shit with me today.
No problem. Mucho gusto.
Mucho gusto. Muy bien.
Find us on all the places. Talk shit to us at gmail.com, TSYBpod on the social medias, and write to us. Let us know what you think about today. AI, am I the asshole?
Has AI taken your job?
Yeah. What grinds your gears?
Yeah. Let me know.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.